Hi everyone, welcome to the Mother's Day screencast for Westwood Elementary staff. Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there. You are amazing, and I know your families appreciate what you do. Schedule for the week. Not a lot of things to share other than Wednesday. We had our 8:30 staff meeting that I had to move to 10 o'clock. If you aren't able to be there at 10 o'clock, that's okay. I put optional on there. I'm sorry I had to move that. I have another meeting that I need to be at with kindergarten. So unfortunately that did need to be moved. So if you have something going out, something else at that time, no problem. Just a time to check in and see how things are going. And of course, during our this time, all staff are always welcome to join. All right, end of year parent connections. Just a reminder, this Thursday, that's an opportunity to work on that. When you send out those messages, and not yet, but on the 19th, when you send out those messages on the 19th, if you choose to do Seesaw, that's great. Make sure that you also email out the information. We're just trying to make sure that our families get it, and I know some of our families don't always check their Seesaw emails as much. So email that out too. Just as a reminder, academic strengths, personal strengths, academic area for growth, one personal area for growth. Links down here to the phrase bank and just sort of the template that's there. So just know that information is right there. Appreciate you sending that out and also making sure that families know that their kid will report to the next grade next year. So if you're in first grade, you will be in second grade next year. OPR, Operation Property Return Safety Guidelines. Got a little information to share on this. Just as a reminder, all staff, you're going to be entering through the parking lot door. That's the only door that will be open. So just be aware of that. Your badge will work on there until 12. We'll figure out what happens if you come in after 12. And just as a reminder, it will be open from 8 to 8 as of now. So just know that you have that time. I don't think we should be staying until 8 o'clock, but just know that's a possibility. At the door, right when you come in, you're going to see a little sign here, COVID-19 workplace health screening. I know this is paperwork, but just please fill this out. Just make sure you don't have a temperature or a cough or shortness of breath, loss of taste of, or smell. Just sign that. We're just trying to make sure everybody's safe, and we need to do that. When you're in the hallway and around others, please wear a mask. If you need one, contact Deb, Kaiser, or Diane. We do have some masks, not many. We really are saving those masks because they're one-time use masks for the last week of school when families are picking up their things. So just know that. You will have gloves that you can wear when you are putting those things into the bags. So just know that they will be in your room. We do have a few extras. Please try to be obviously mindful of that too. If you are interested in signing up for another date, teachers, if you're interested and you think you might need more time, go ahead and sign up for another time too. If you're a non-homeroom teacher, but you have some things that you want to do in your classroom, you can sign up for a date too. Just a reminder, we do not want more than 10 of us in at a time, and I'm not going to move my little thing around here to get it exactly right, but we have quite a few people coming in on the first day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it looks like 5 or 6. So we have a good amount of people coming in on that first day, which is good. We had one guinea pig that came in early. Sorry, Kristen, for calling you a guinea pig, but Kristen Feck came in and tried it out because we needed to see on that. She said it took, I think, between 2 and 3 hours, so just be aware of that. There are name tags for your kids. I'll go on to that. So I'll talk a little bit about this. When you go into your rooms, bag up all your student possessions. The bags are there. You have a label for each kid. Put that label on the bag. There's some thought that the labels were coming off. It does not look like they are. Try to put the labels at the top where the bag is tied so we can see that. I am going to ask you to alphabetize your bags, and when you are done, bring them to the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, we have all the tables for all of our staff. put the bag by your class in alphabetical order. We already have one change. Last week I told you to put siblings things at the same classroom, changing that. Just worry about keeping your class of students together in alphabetical order. When a parent comes and says, hey, I have a student in Mrs. Fett's room and Mr. Smallfield's room, we'll get the bag from each. Just want you to be aware, we know this. This is a very fluid situation. We're trying to make this work the best that we can, and this plan will continue to change. Right now, it looks like fifth grade might move to the first day instead of the last, just so those fifth grade families can have, students can have a little closure as they pull up and people can wave to them, their teachers can, since this is their last year in the building. If fifth grade does go to the first day, that does change our schedule of the other grades and when they pick up. It has the potential to do that. So just know that's one little thing that's going to change. So be aware of that. Some other options. If you would like some extra help, Miriam, John, Paula, and Rachel, they are willing to help. Rachel helps with food too at Westwood, so she could help after 11:30 all the others, I think. If you email and talk to them, they'd be more than willing to come in and help you out. So appreciate you being willing to do that. If you need them, email them. I might have confused people a little bit in my last week's email. You do not need to worry about doing your end of year clean in your rooms. Right now, our custodians are able to move everything out of the room, do the clean, put it back in. However, sometimes it makes you feel more comfortable to do that. If you want to use some of this time, if you want to sign up for time just to get some things straightened up in your room or think about what you want to bring home for the end of the year, that is fine too. We have a number of staff that are either leaving us and we have a few that are switching rooms. We're going to have to figure that out at the end. When it comes to the last week of school, we still, as far as I can tell, are going to have to practice social distancing. So we might need to have a schedule again, like I have right now, prior to the last week of signing up on who can be there when. We also have some things to figure out about how many people are going to be helping get those bags out to families, our exact process for that. I'm aware of it. Just want to make sure that first of all, we have all these things bagged up. We get that to the cafeteria. You as staff have time to get in those rooms and get things done. So appreciate your help with that. If you have questions, let me know. I'll also take at least a minute or two to answer any questions you have on that come Wednesday too. So clear as mud? I hope not. I hope this is making sense, and the more we get into it, the more sense it's going to make. Class lists. Once again, our goal is to make equitable classes for students and staff success. Last Friday, I met with the special ed department and Shannon to group our special ed and EL students because we know that some of our special ed students have para support, and so we need to be mindful of that. We know that we have limited EL teachers, and so we need to cluster our students some that way. That does not mean that all of us won't have some special ed students, but we need to cluster the ones that need para support. So similar to last year, pretty quickly I'm going to get those clusters all set on those sheets I shared out with you. I'm going to ask you to backfill around those clusters in your classrooms. So I haven't quite done that yet. That's on my agenda for this week so that you can finish that last piece out as far as adding our regular ed students around them. We tried to be mindful of the separate froms that you told us about. We tried to be mindful of how of who can work with who and how to make it work the best as possible. This is always a tough thing to do, and we're trying to be as successful as we can. So I'll let you know when I'm done putting those back in. When you are completed as far as making the rest of the classes around the kids that we group together, I'll ask your grade level to have a meeting with me, to set up a meeting with me so we can review it and I can hear your questions and your thoughts. I want to share this with specialists too once we're done with that so they can give us any feedback. And then over the summer, we know that we'll have some students that'll be added, and some will leave. But we are doing the best that we can on that. So I appreciate everybody's insights. I appreciate everybody's support on this. We all have the same goal. I know it's tough, but just know that that will be coming to you shortly, and I'll send out an email when I'm done with that piece of it too. All right, student recognition. One of the tough things this year is that it is really hard for us to recognize and celebrate the end of the year with our students as we've done in previous years. We always would have that award ceremony. We'd have our fifth graders march across the stage and our kindergartners march across the stage at a different time. We can't do those things. So a couple thoughts. We met as a BLT team. We are going to skip the traditional awards that we hand out at the end of the year. Just did not make sense to do that. It sounds like most other schools are doing the same thing. We're trying to think, both with PBIS and our BLT, what can we do to recognize and say goodbye? One idea was to do a reverse parade where staff would social distance outside along 108th on the last day of school, and cars could drive by and honk and all that, and we could wave. I don't think we can do that based upon what I'm hearing as far as graduation recommendations that have come out from the state, from our governor. So that was a thought. I'm not sure we can do that. Another possibility, could we do a staff car parade and just go through our different attendance areas and say goodbye that way and wave from our cars? There might be a possibility, but I know that there's some liability issues on that. I know that they're looking at that from a district level because there's a number of different schools that would be interested in that. I know Holly Skadsum had some online class student awards, one for each kid, maybe the best mathematician or the most helpful, those type of things. I'm thinking she's going to share that out. I know that's not great. That's the one thing I could think of at this time that at least we could use just as a kind of closure and recognition and all of that. So maybe we'll get some of those coming out here soon. If you have ideas, let me know. I would really like to recognize our kids, but unfortunately this is going to be tough, and we are not the only schools struggling with that. That's the same across the state and in other states. So just be aware of that. Well, that's it. That's all I have. Once again, happy Mother's Day. Even though it is not a super warm day outside, I still hope that you're able to enjoy it. And thanks for all you're doing. And I look forward to seeing and talking with you next week. Take care, everyone.